Okay, so you know how everyone's looking for that dream job these days?
Right.
That thing that's more than just a paycheck.
Yeah.
Like something fulfilling.
Hmm.
And lately, it seems like every corner of the internet is telling you to become a life coach
Oh, I know it.
or a holistic therapist,
Right.
promising incredible income and, ultimate freedom naturally.
It's interesting how that's kind of gotten wrapped up in the whole like hustle culture thing.
Totally.
Like you can manifest a six-figure salary while also like following your bliss.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
too good to be true.
All right.
Well, that's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
We found this article by Frederic Deltour, who is a holistic therapist and coach in France,
Okay.
and he actually trains people in this field.
Interesting.
And he kind of tackles this question head on. What are the realistic earnings you can expect?
And that's an important point to remember right off the bat. He is not a neutral observer.
Right.
He runs online training programs.
Exactly.
So, this article is likely also a way to attract potential students.
For sure. For sure.
But we're going to keep that in mind as we go
Exactly. We're going to keep that in mind.
and kind of unpack some of his insights.
Yeah. The first thing that jumped out to me was that he's very upfront about the unpredictable nature of the income.
Okay.
Unlike a traditional 9 to 5,
Yeah.
you're directly affected by how many clients you get, the rates you set, even the time of year.
Yeah. This is not a regular job. This is an entrepreneurial venture.
Right.
You're running the show,
100%.
which means wearing multiple hats, marketing yourself, managing your finances, handling the ups and downs of income. It requires a totally different skill set.
Totally. And speaking of different, we should probably mention that his article is specific to France.
Right, of course.
They've got their own thing going on with taxes and regulations for independent contractors,
Yes.
which could be way different than North America.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a great point for anyone listening who's thinking about, going freelance, doing their own thing.
Yeah.
You have to understand the rules of the game in your location.
Yes.
Taxes, regulations, all that jazz, because it can significantly impact your take-home pay,
For sure.
even if you're working with clients online.
Okay. So get this. Frederic claims that a whopping 80 to 90% of holistic therapists and coaches are self-employed.
Wow.
That's huge.
That is huge.
That really drives home that entrepreneurial aspect, right?
Yeah, it really highlights that you've got autonomy, flexibility,
Yep.
but also the responsibility, the risk.
Totally.
Not everyone thrives in that kind of environment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking about being your own boss, but what about those eye-popping hourly rates you see advertised everywhere?
Right.
The ones that make you think, maybe I should become a meditation guru.
Yeah, Frederic actually goes into this.
Okay.
And it's interesting, some sources, brag about therapists charging like 150 to 300 euro an hour.
Wow.
But then Frederic, as someone who's actually, working in the field, suggests a more realistic range is more like 50 to 90 euro.
Okay, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
It's like finding out that unicorn-shaped latte doesn't actually cost $50.
Exactly.
Makes you wonder who those high earners are.
Right. It's not to say that it's impossible to charge those higher rates.
Right.
It's more about like transparency. I think, those top earners, they probably have years of experience.
Right.
They've got specialized niches, strong reputations that they've built up over time.
Makes sense.
It's not necessarily the starting point for most therapists.
Totally. So if individual sessions aren't necessarily a goldmine when you're first starting out, how do you build a thriving practice?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Frederic seems to be a big fan of group workshops and training programs.
Yeah. And that's where that entrepreneurial thinking really comes in, right?
Okay.
Instead of doing like one-on-one sessions, you're kind of packaging your expertise in a way
Right.
to help a larger group of people.
Right.
More efficient, potentially more lucrative. And as Frederic points out, group settings can be a really great way to attract future individual clients.
It's like building a community.
Exactly.
Like people get to know you, they get to know your style, and then boom, you've got this pool of potential clients right there.
Exactly. And it shows how important it is for holistic therapists to think beyond just their practice.
Totally.
They need to market themselves, they need to network, they need to adapt to what their clients need.
Speaking of adapting, Frederic also talks about keeping costs low.
Yes.
Especially when starting out, like ditching the fancy office rental, embracing the power of online sessions.
Right. It plays into this whole trend we're seeing now with online businesses.
Huge.
And frankly, it makes a lot of sense. You don't need a physical location.
Yeah.
You can reach people all over the place.
Yeah.
Plus, think of the flexibility.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Work from anywhere. Set your own hours.
It's funny you think holistic and you picture like this serene studio with like incense burning,
Right.
but maybe the most holistic business approach is actually being like savvy and adaptable.
Exactly. It's about aligning your actions with your values.
I love that.
If freedom and financial stability matter to you, then making smart choices about how you structure your business is key.
Okay, so let's talk about the bottom line here. What can someone realistically expect to earn?
Right. So Frederic suggests that on average, a monthly income of about 1,500 to 2,000 euro is a reasonable starting point
Okay.
for holistic therapists and coaches in France.
Okay.
And remember, this aligns with his more modest hourly rate suggestions.
Right. It's way more grounded than those become a millionaire life coach claims that we see all the time.
Yeah.
So no overnight riches, but definitely potential for a good living.
Exactly. And he's not just talking about individual sessions. Remember, we talked about workshops, online courses, retreats.
Right.
All of those things can contribute to your income as well.
Totally.
It's about diversifying.
It's refreshing to see someone, cut through the hype,
Absolutely.
especially in a field that can often feel shrouded in like good vibes only marketing.
Yeah, it's a good reminder to approach any career advice, especially online, with a critical eye.
Yeah.
Look for sources that acknowledge both the challenges and the rewards,
Total.
the day-to-day realities, along with the inspiring stories.
Which is exactly what we've tried to do here.
Yeah.
Frederic's article, while, clearly designed to attract students to his programs,
Right.
also gives us this like really valuable, grounded look at the financial side of being a holistic therapist.
Yeah, he's upfront about the fact that, you're probably not going to become a millionaire overnight doing this.
Right?
But he also emphasizes that a comfortable, fulfilling living is achievable
Totally.
for those who are willing to put in the work, diversify their income streams, and really build a sustainable business.
So let's bring it back to you listening to this, maybe daydreaming about a career shift into holistic therapy or coaching. What are the key takeaways here?
Well, hopefully you're now a little bit more equipped to go beyond those attention-grabbing headlines
Yes.
and think critically about your own definition of success. Is it purely about the money,
Right.
or are there other factors at play for you?
Because let's be real, this is a field that's driven by passion, a desire to help others, to make a difference, to align your work with your values.
And those are incredible motivators.
Totally.
But it's also important to balance that idealism with practicality.
Right.
Understand the financial realities, be strategic about your business, and don't be afraid to seek out guidance from experienced mentors.
So while becoming a holistic therapist might not come with a guaranteed six-figure salary or like a beachfront office,
Sure.
it offers something potentially far more valuable.
Okay.
The opportunity to align your work with your values,
Love that.
to make a meaningful impact on other people's lives,
Yeah.
and to craft a career path that feels both personally and financially rewarding.
That's what it's all about.
And that is something worth exploring.